Hey folks, it's past Super Tuesday. Worked pretty hard this week, but in spite of that, let's acknowledge that Biden has performed better than expected. And I wanted to analyze this and what that means to the continuation of the campaign. I think we'll come out of it still with a slight delegate lead for Bernie, but this is something that we really have to focus on so that it does not continue to hurt the campaign down the line. So what I think happened is a combination of things. One, that the withdrawal of Buttigieg and Klobuchar in their consolidation or endorsement of Biden has helped, definitely helped. And the fact that Warren has not done the same thing with Bernie is also a contributor. So that's one thing, but I don't think that's the major issue. I think what the major issue is the indoctrination of the US population to one word: socialist. And though I've heard Bernie explain again and again what a socialistic democrat means, and barely has anything to do with socialism, more so with democracy. In spite of that, it seems like 50 years of indoctrination in that regard have really, especially with the boomer population, there's almost a Pavlovian effect of that term and in any combination of words. And I think that that has damaged, that has caused damage. In the last debate, I remember especially Biden going after Bernie Sanders, and very disingenuously so, because he knows better. He went after him pretending that he was a socialist and not a Democrat and so forth. And I think a lot of people buy into that. And what will have to happen in the upcoming weeks or days is that a huge undertaking of education of what it means, what Bernie actually stands for. In fact, I don't even know why that description of socialist democrat is important here, because all Bernie is an FDR Democrat. He's pretty much taking the same route as FDR. FDR has not been any less. Actually, he's been more of a socialist than Bernie, because he's also offered, he wanted everyone to have a free home. I'm not sure if a free car, but he definitely surpassed Bernie's requirements for what it means to be an American citizen. And that is all you need to know. He is the continuation of FDR. It's not an extreme position. It is not in any way radical, in any way. If anything, the Democratic establishment has moved to the center and even right since the days of FDR and Roosevelt and previous um, decades. So I think that is an extremely important point to make. And another point that he has already made is that we have socialism in the United States, except it's socialism for the rich. And there's wealth redistribution by way of tax exemptions and all kinds of benefits that go to people who are of means rather than people who are living on wages. And that's skewed in that way. And Trump has been perhaps the biggest, well, one of the bigger socialists for the wealthy. So those, he's made those points, but those things, I think we also in the public space, and when we talk with friends, when we talk with family, we need to stress those points out, because trying to portray him as a radical is extremely damaging. And we may lose this opportunity to really change American politics at this time if we don't really straighten those things out and make sure that people understand really what it stands for and not just latch to some scary words that they've been indoctrinated against. So one other thing that I wanted to mention is now is the time to jump in and join the Bernie Sanders campaign, because regardless of who becomes president, even if Bernie becomes president, we will need to keep pushing and organizing behind the scenes. And organizing works. I've heard people saying nothing works, just forget about it, we're not in a democracy and so forth. But organizing does work. And the proof of it was when the Republicans tried to repeal Obamacare and everybody rallied and went to their town hall meetings. They retreated. And though they tried doing other things since then and have damaged Obamacare, they definitely, those things work. People organized means power. And so if you get into the system now, you get into the databases, and those would be probably used later with our revolution. This is the time. There's not going to be another time that there's going to be so much money put down towards organizing as is now under the roof of a presidential campaign. And you have to understand that that's not something that can be done just out of the blue. It is in the context of this, and right now there's funds in the way of contributions to Bernie and his campaign funds, and those are powering this system. And we need to, whoever, if you have any progressive bone in your body, you need to get involved. The smallest thing that you do, if you do phone calls for half an hour or whatever, once you're in the system, you will be able to participate down the line and be called on. And that is what is important. So join in. I will post a couple of links regarding how to do so underneath, and hope to see you and talk to you soon. Hope for better news in the upcoming weeks. Cheers.